কিছু বলে যাবেন, আমি শুরু করব। Good evening, participants. Thank you for coming today for this webinar. Can you all hear me? Vivek sir, can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you. I can see you.
Thank you so much.
If you can stop the background music, that will be helpful.
Yes, I will. So, once again, good evening to you and a most heartfelt welcome to all the participants in this webinar. My name is Ranjan Kumar Majumdar and I am the founder and managing director of Constellation Training and Placement Services. And today I am here with my colleague, uh, Mr. Vivek Gaurav. Mr. Vivek Gaurav is our mentor. He is our content orchestrator, and he guides us on everything that happens on IT in Constellation. Vivek is a engineering graduate from a VIT Sindri, and he is a very much a part of the IT industry as a developer, as a project lead, as a trainer. And his areas are vast for us and for students who are getting into the aspects of job preparation, seeking placements, and especially for the IT industry. Vivek brings a lot of knowledge: C, C++, Java, Python, data structure, algorithms, and many more. And the courses which he has designed for Constellation, which we teach in various colleges, we teach online, and are all there in our learning management system. So, students and participants who are seeking placements and job opportunities in the IT industry will very much benefit from these seminars. Constellation has been carrying out these seminars for some time now, and our focus is to provide you knowledge, information, as well as job opportunities in placements. So, as our students, as participants, we welcome you once again to the seminar, to the webinar of Constellation. We are about a 13-year-old organization. We used to concentrate mostly with colleges. We went to colleges, we taught students, and our focus has always been placement oriented courses. And now we are getting into an area where we would like to appeal to students and participants like you to come and join us and benefit from what we are doing, join our community, and there's a huge amount of information that we share, benefit for that, and with those, get ready for your placements. And in the months to come, as you work with us, as you participate in our webinars, in the various material that we share with you, there's a lot of free material, that is paid material. We shall now start to connect to companies, and as we see interest from your side, interest in taking our tests, our assessment, we shall over the next few months connect with companies and refer your biodata to those companies for placement. That's the plan we have. We have been doing this for many years, but this is the first time we are directly working with you, students and participants. Talking about Constellation, we are quite old in the industry now. We work with a network of subject matter experts, trainers, facilitators who are spread across India. And I can tell you that about we have worked with about 30 colleges and universities across India, and we would have touched the lives of more than 25,000 students. Our focus areas, other than college training and assessments, is corporate training. We are very active in actually training people in the corporate sector, that is, in companies. We are a placement agency, and we have a division which is into business consulting. Very briefly, let me cover what we do. As I mentioned, our courses are all placement oriented courses. We have aptitude test preparation. If you have joined our community, and please do join, then you are going to get one small aptitude test every week. And we are also going to have webinar on aptitude test, where we will discuss the solutions and the tricks of how to solve your aptitude tests. We have coding oriented IT courses. Today, one such webinar is on how to do your coding. And if you are interested, you can look through our courses on our learning management system, that is the online platform. We are a very strong player as when it comes to soft skills. And over the many years of our existence, we have helped students prepare their CV, write their uh, applications, do company and industry analysis, assist them in doing a very good self introduction, take them through a huge number of questions in HR. We have about a repository of 100 questions in HR. We help students structure their IT or their domain responses. So those are all the kind of things we do, participants. We have a course on communicative English. If you face English issues, come to us. We are a partner of Cambridge Learning, and we have our modules on communicative English. Assessments is a big area. We work with a number of colleges where we actually do the assessments of students and give the college the results, and that is what we would like to make available to you. The assessments are on aptitude tests and coding. With that, I would like to hand over to Mr. Vivek Gaurav. Vivek, and interestingly, Vivek, what we shall discuss today is about IT and coding. And over many years now, and this is something not a new phenomena, there used to be a time where, we were young, you and me, we were both young, and we
Right,
would be
sir.
seeking jobs, and we would be giving an IT test and an IT and an apti test, and then appear for an interview. But gone are those sweet old days. Now the situation is that one has to give a coding test. And over the years, we have seen that these coding tests are becoming quite tricky, challenging, difficult, as you may say. And it is becoming a sort of um tests which are testing the kind of development that the developers should have in the IT industry. That's the biggest challenge.
Right.
So, participants, I'll hand it over to Vivek to take us through the new and interesting areas and actually solve uh, one or two coding problems, share his experiences. You're most welcome to um, give your responses. Please ask your questions in the chat, and we will try our best to answer. Over to you, Vivek.
Thank you, sir. So, good evening, students. Like, I don't think it needs an introduction or it needs a bit of explanation that why coding is important in today's digital era, right? Be it like career opportunities, problem solving, creativity, innovation. You talk about anything, and coding is going to play an important role over there, right? And most importantly, if you're looking for a job in IT world, you need to know coding, right? Because if you know coding and if you are doing it well, chances are pretty high that you will scale higher in the ladder in the ladder over there. So what I'm gonna do now is that I'm gonna share my screen. So let me present my screen first, and then I'm gonna talk about something which will be an interesting thing to for all of you. Okay. So yeah, I believe all of you can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Awesome. Thank you, sir, for the confirmation. So, what we have done is that, we have looked into some of the companies, right? And some of the major companies, IT companies. and the kind of questions they have, the kind of recording round they have, what is the time limit on that, how many questions are being asked, and things like that. So as you can see, like, if we talk about Accenture, right? How many questions they have, Accenture? Sorry, let me just go back one slide back. Yeah. So Accenture is having number of coding questions. They are having two coding questions over there. The time limit is 45 minutes, and the difficulty level, it is hard. See, one of the thing that happens is that the difficulty level is not always hard, but what makes it hard is the platform, is the environment in which in which you are writing the examination. So what used to happen earlier is that you are there in a face-to-face interview. You are given a pen, a pen and a paper, and then you are asked to write code and things like that. But now things have changed. You are in front of a system. You are in front of a platform. The question is there, and it is not just a simple question. It is like a very long question with few test cases, few inputs, few outputs, right? And then you have a coding editor over there itself, and you need to write your answer over there. And in a fraction of a second, the moment you submit the code, you know whether you did it right or whether you did it wrong, right? So this adds a little bit more pressure to the, because there is a time limit. You need to pass all the test cases. It is not just about passing one or two test cases. All the test cases has to be passed. So these adds some extra pressure, and because of that, the difficulty level, as you can see, like it is hard for almost all of the companies. Similarly, if I talk about TCS and QT, the number of coding questions they ask is like three. Out of three, like one is like short, second one is like kind of between short and long, and the third one is long question. They ask a long question, and the same goes over there. They have their own platform. You have to write the answer in their coding editor. You cannot open any other windows. You cannot Google search, things like that. That happens in any platform these days. Wipro, same thing. Infosys, same number of question three. Deloitte two, Capgemini two. So you can read it there. So the point is that if you are looking to get into IT companies by writing the examination of these specific companies that you can see on your screen, or for that matter for any other company, right? You need to pass this coding test, right? There are companies for which they do not have an examination like this, but what they do is that they share a link with you, mostly like code chef or like hacker rank, and they ask you to solve 5 questions or 4 questions, and based on that they rate you whether you should be coming to their second round or not, right? So the bottom line is that you cannot skip this. Even if you want to, like if you even if you think like I will be just make myself good with basic foundation, I can answer the theoretical knowledge, but that is not going to help you until unless you are able to write the code and get the design, get the required output. Okay, so for today, what we're gonna do is that now that we know the coding, the question-wise structure of the companies, right? What we're gonna do is that we're gonna look at one of the problem, okay? And this was the problem that we have put in our community like last week, and today we are going to discuss the solution for that. And I would want you all to participate, to put your thinking, to put your doubts, to put your queries, concerns, curiosities, whatever you feel, right, or whatever you think is the right way. If there is an interaction, that will be really helpful. So you can use the chat feature for that, and that will make it much more interesting. Okay, so if I go to the next slide, so as you can see over here, we have a question. And as I said, right, the question these days are really long. Gone are those days where you will be having like, write a program to find the sum of two number, write Fibonacci series, or like linear search, or like bubble sort, selection sort. They do not ask these kind of questions these days. What they ask you is that they ask you one question which is like a mix of different concepts, where you'll be you need to know arrays, you need to know loops, you need to know conditional statement, right? Functions, all those concepts are being used in one simple program. And here is one program that you can see on the screen. A small retail store needs an inventory management system to keep track of its product. The system should allow the store to add new product, update the quantity of existing product, and display the current inventory. Okay, so in this question, it is asking you to create an inventory management system to keep a track record of a small retail store, right, which needs to keep track of its product. And there are few requirements added. What are the requirements? That each of the product has a unique ID, they have a name, and they have a quantity. The system should allow the following operation. You should be able to do three operations. One is like you want to add a product, you should be able to do that. The second is like if the update the quantity of an existing product. Earlier you had, like, let's suppose if I'm talking about biscuits, so earlier I had 20 biscuits, now I have got 20 more, so 20 plus 20, it became 40, right? So the quantity should get increased or updated every time a new product is being added. And the third is like display the current inventory. So whatever current inventory I have, it should get displayed. And as you can see, we have an example over here as well. So the three products is like product ID, product one, ID is 101, apple, banana, oranges. The quantity of apple is 50, banana is 30, orange is 20. Okay, and then they're asking you like update the quantity of product with ID 102, add 10 more bananas to it. So eventually, the number of bananas, the quantity of bananas should become 40. This is what the question is saying. Now, the point is, whenever you are writing this kind of questions, or whenever you are writing an examination for any of the companies, you are free to choose any language. Now that is an advantage, right? That is an advantage. Why advantage? If you feel like, this question, if you are comfortable with like couple of languages, let's suppose Python, C, Java, you are comfortable with these three languages, and you look at one question and like, Python is going to take a less time, right? You can go with Python in that case, because the point is that you do not have to just make sure that you get the output, you have to write each and every line of the code as well within this given amount of time. So if you have 40 minutes of time, right, if you have just 40 minutes, and if you are writing like 40 lines of code, and your typing speed, it is going to take a lot of amount of time, isn't it? But if you know that Python is going to take only 20 lines, then you can go with Python and you can save some time, because if you have time, you can use it in debugging if there is some error, right? You can check multiple test cases. So these are few things that you should know beforehand, before you are there writing the examination. Most of the time, what happens is that, I just know one language and I will write the code. It's fine, no problem with that. But you need to understand that different languages have different library functions available with them, right? And Python, as we all know, or Java for that matter, right? They make the code little less as compared to, like, C, if I say for an example, right? Reason is that you have to write each and every line of code over there. But in Python, for an example, the same code, the same question can be, like, minimized in like 10-15 lines. You can always save a couple of lines for sure, right? So these are few tips and tricks that you should always have in mind. Okay, now for this particular example, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use one of the languages. But before I do so, I want to know from all of you, like, which language should I prefer. So I go with C, C++, Java, or Python. I'm looking at the chat box just to see some responses from you guys, so that we know, like, everyone is here, everyone is with me. Java, okay, I have got couple of responses in Java. Okay, I have got one Python. Okay, two Python, two Java as of now, so it's a tie. We need a tiebreaker. Okay, so we have got one more Python. Swagata has said Python. So we have three Python and two Java. Okay, and as we live in a democratic world, majority always wins. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna go with Python in that case. But do not worry, those who have said Java and those who have not said anything, even if you wanted to say C, C++, I'm gonna give you the code for that. Okay, I'm gonna explain you the code for that. Okay, but before I do so, before I start writing the code and type all those things, I just want to know from all of you, like, what is the approach, what are we going to do over here, what are the concepts we need to know if you are going to solve this problem from Python. What all concepts are required? Anyone? One, of course, is going to be looping, right? We need to loop, isn't it? So that is one. What about others concept? Do we need class? We can use dictionary for this problem. Yeah. Dictionary or list? What do you think is going to be helpful? You want to use dictionary, you want to use list? And if dictionary, why? Because there is a key and a, because of that reason there is an ID and there is a name. Is this what you are, is, like, making, helping you to take that decision? Yeah. Okay. Okay, fine, great. So we need, like, uh, data type, I can say, bring that list dictionary into one data type called data type. So we have that. We know we need looping. What other concepts are required? Class. Do you think class is needed? Class functions, is that needed? Is it needed or not? No. No one is saying anything. Okay. Yeah, it is needed. Okay, so what we're going to do now is that now we know, let's go ahead and start writing the code. So I'm going to open the coding editor, but before I do so, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to switch off my camera for the timing. Reason is that I'm looking at multiple screen. I'm looking at camera over here. The question is over there. The coding editor is in the middle of the screen. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to switch off the camera so that you do not get distracted by looking at me. You should focus on the screen sharing. So let me put off my camera for the time being. Yeah. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to open my coding editor. So here is my coding editor, and you can see, as I said, so I have all the 4 languages over here. Okay, and I'm using VS Code. Okay, I'm using VS Code just to let you guys know that this is the coding editor that I'm using. And what I'm going to do now is that I am going to, okay, I'm going to create one more file in Python, and that is going to be like inventory management.py. Okay. Okay. By the way, which coding editor you guys use? I've just opened the chat once again. Which coding editor you VS Code? Okay. VS Code, awesome, great. So all of you know how VS Code works. There is nothing that I need to explain over here. Awesome, great. Right. Moving ahead and talking about the next thing. Right. So the first thing that we are going to do over here is that in Python, what we are going to do is that we are going to create a class, okay, called product, and it will have the ID, the name, and the quantity. These are the 3 members that are going to be there in that class. Okay. So let me start typing. So class and then product. And then what I'm going to do is that there will be definitely an init function that will be there, right? And then what I'm going to have over here is that it will be self, and then I'll have the product ID, product underscore ID, name, and then quantity. Okay, these are the 3 things I'm going to have for now. I don't think any other thing is needed. Now what I need to do is that I need to initialize everything. So self dot ID is equal to product dot ID. Sorry, product underscore ID. Okay, let me write complete this, and then I'll explain you. If you have any questions, you can ask me over there. Self dot name equal to name, and self dot quantity, sorry, equal to quantity. Okay, so this is what I have done. Now I just want to have a check from all of you. Are you all comfortable with what I have written on the screen? Yeah. If not, let me open up the question once again. Okay, so where is the question? Let me share that. Okay, just a moment. Okay, here is the quiz. You can see that. Okay, so we had 3 things. One was the ID, a unique ID, the name, and the quantity. And for that reason, what I have done is that I have added these 3 members into my product, into my class. Okay, if you are not able to see, let me make it a little bit bigger so that you all can see it. Yes, I can see it on the screen share that it is a little bit bigger now, right? So now this is done. Now what I need to do? Okay, now what do I need to do? The next thing that I need to do now is that I need to have a look at, okay, I need to look at, so my product is defined. These are every product is going to have these 3 things. Now the next thing that I should be doing is that I should be creating a class for the inventory. Okay, and that inventory class will have all those functions where we are going to have the add product, update product, or display product. This is where it is gonna be. Okay, so in my inventory class, I will be defining couple of other functions where I'll be adding each of those functions, defining each of those functions to complete the specific task of adding the product, displaying the product, or be it updating the product. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is that I'm coming back. If you are one of the things that you should be aware in Python is about the uh, like the spacing, right? Because there you do not have the bracket over there. You do not have bracket like in C++ or Java, so that bracket helps you, but here we do not have that. So you need to be little bit of aware, like where you are starting things from. So now I am come again to the baseline, and here I am writing again another class. Okay, so I'm creating another class, and this class is going to be inventory. Okay, the first thing my inventory class should have is the init function that goes by default. So I'll have div init, right? And in that, what I'm gonna do is that I won't have anything. The only thing I'm gonna do is that I'm going to have a self dot products. Okay, and I'm going to start a list. Okay, I'm going to start a list. Now, although we talked about list and dictionary, and there were a couple of responses where it was like dictionary, but what I'm doing over here is that I'm not using a dictionary. I'm using a list. Okay, why I'm using a list is that first thing, if you compare list and dictionary, right? List is simple to use. I'm not sure how many of you are going to agree with me, or how many of you believe that, but it is my personal opinion, and I feel like list is very much easier as compared to other data types that we have. Moreover, if you look at the amount of items that I have three items over there: ID, name, and quantity. Right? It is going to be much more easier in list as compared to dictionary. So for that reason, I'm going with list. If you want to try this program out with a dictionary, feel free to do so and put it in our community group. Okay, share it with us, and so that other student can also have a look. Feel free to do so. Okay, so now once I'm done with that, once I have defined a list and in a blank list, what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to define each of the functions. Okay, so the first function I'm going to do is that add products. In this, what all things you need? First of all, it will have the self by default. If you are going to add the product, you need couple of things. What all things you need? You need the ID of the product, you need the name of the product, and you need the quantity. Right? So these are the three parameters it will have. So what I'm going to do over here is that I'm going to add them. Product underscore ID, quantity. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is that I am going to add to my quantity list. Every time a product is being added, what is going to happen is that the quantity of the product will increase. Right? The quantity of the product will increase. But before that, I also need to check if the product already exists or not. If the product exists, then the quantity should increase. If the product does not exist, then I need to add a new product first, right? So for that, what I'm doing is that I'm running a for loop, okay, for product in self dot products. Okay, so I'm going through each of the product that I have, and then what I'm doing is that I'm going to check if product dot id or product, okay, if product dot id is equal to product underscore id. Okay, this is what I'm doing over here. I'm iterating through my list of product that I have, and then I'm checking the product ID that I am getting over here in order to add the product, if that exists in that list or not. If it exists, then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to increase the quantity. Okay, so product dot quantity, okay, plus equal to quantity, and then I will do a break. Okay, and then I will do a break. Okay, my add product function is done. Now let me know if you guys are comfortable with what I have written on the screen.
If you want Vivek sir to repeat or explain any line of code, please feel free to ask.
Absolutely.
Insta Grahak, you had said no earlier. Are you with us? Are things clear?
Okay. So when you are saying no, okay, first of all, Instagram, the name is like
Very nice
great.
name,
Yeah,
interesting.
and really nice name and interesting one. So when you say no, which part you are saying no? Are you
No,
saying no to the complete?
no,
Yeah.
Vivek sir, this was a response quite some time back. I think Instagrahak had put this response maybe about 10 minutes back before we went into the last two paragraphs of the
Okay.
code. So, Insta, are you with us? Anybody else? You want a clarification? Yeah, we can go ahead, Vivek sir.
Awesome. So let me go ahead with the next set of things. So now my add product function is done. Okay. And this was the trickiest part, if you will compare with the rest of the other functions that we need. Okay. The next two function that I need is like, display the product. That is the other function that I need. And then I need a product to display the inventory. Okay. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add another function called update quantity. Adding the products, every time a product is being added, the quantity needs to be updated. Okay. So update quantity. Again, if you are knowing Python, you know the first parameter for any function is going to be the self, right? Then I need, if I am updating the quantity, I need the product ID. And then what I need is that I need the quantity, right? By what quantity I want to increase, then it will be like colon. And here what I'm going to do is that, again, what I need to do is that, again, I'll be using a for loop to go through the products that I have. Okay. So for product in self dot product. Okay. I'm going through iterating through that loop, and then over here again I will be having a if condition, if product dot id, okay, if product dot id is equal to the product id that I'm getting in the parameter of the function product underscore id. If that matches, okay, if that matches, then what I'm gonna do is that then the product quantity is going to get increased, right? The same thing is going to get added over here, and then what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna put a break. Okay. Now, if you look carefully, the add product and update quantity function is exactly same. Do you think there is something fishy? How many of you think there is something wrong in this whole program? Any one of you is noticing something fishy over here? Is it possible that my add product function is going to exactly be same like my update quantity function? How many of you are with me? If you were wondering that why I'm writing that, you can absolutely say it now, because now I'm making it clear. I was just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, but nothing happened. See, if you notice carefully, what I have done over here is that my self.product is a list, isn't it? It is a list. So every time I want to add a product, do I need to do all these things? Is it really needed? Is it really needed? What do you think? Anyone? List has a function, right? List has a library function. Can I use that? And if I can use that, which function I'm talking about? Anyone? Those of you who have mentioned Python earlier, right? Now you can answer this question. Which function I'm going to use it over here? Let me first delete this whole thing. Okay. Add product. Which function I'm going to use that? It is going to be like self dot products dot. Now you see the list of functions that are coming up: append, clear, copy, count, extend, index. Now you tell me which I'm gonna use. Okay, let me open the chat. Okay, append. Okay, I have got couple of responses. Sorry, I did not see that. I was not looking at the chat. So Smithy and Abhishek, thank you for answering that. And this is what I'm going to use, append function, right? This is the function that I'm going to use, the append function. Okay, so self dot products, okay, dot append, and in the append function, what all things I'm going to pass? I'm going to pass, the first thing I'm going to pass is that, okay, I'm going to pass the name of the class that I have over here. Okay, so this is what is going to be. It is going to be like product, and in that parenthesis I'm going to pass the id, the name, and the quantity. Okay, so it will be like product underscore id comma name comma quantity. Okay, and that's it. I don't need anything else in my add product function. I'm done. This is what my add product function is. Okay, a simple line append function is going to take care of every time a new product is being added. You just need to call this function called add product. It is going to get added to that list automatically. Okay, now if you go to C, if you are going to write this program in C, okay, let me open the C code. I already have it with me. If you look at the C, you see the add product function. What you have to do is that you have to do it by yourself. You have to put those lines into it. You have to put id into id, right, name into name, and then quantity into quantity, and then you have to increase the quantity every time. Why? Because C does not give you those kind of functions, right? So just for this simple function that I have for add product in C, it was 1 2 3 4 5 6 lines, including the bracket, of course. But if I compare it with Python, it is just 2 lines. It is just 2 lines, right? A lot of time saving, isn't it? And in C, what I was doing, I was creating a structure. I was creating a structure with ID, name, and quantity into it, and then I was creating an object of that structure called product, right? And then I was using that. But in Python, since I have these things available with me, I have the, I have the list. I can create a list. I can use the list functions. It makes a life little much more easier. Okay, so moving ahead from here and talking about the next set of function that I need. The next function that I need is display. Okay, so I'm going to create the third function and the last function called display inventory. It will not have any parameter other than the self. Self is the default one that will be there. And what I'm going to do is that for, again, I'll be iterating through the list for product in self dot product. Okay, and what I'll be doing is that I'll be just printing out it. Okay, so print, and however you want to print it. If you just want to print it in a very, without any, what do you say, formatting and all, you can do so. But if you want to do some formatting, you can do that as well. So I'm going to use one such thing. Okay, F, and then I'm going to use id colon, and then I'm going to put parenthesis, and I'm going to use product dot id. Okay, I'm gonna go out of it, and then name, and then put a colon, and then parenthesis again, and I'm gonna put product dot name. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna have the same thing over there as well, the quantity. So I'll be putting the quantity over here called quantity. Okay, and then parenthesis, and it is gonna be product dot quantity. Okay, now, so my display function is done as well. Now what I need to do is that I need to come back, okay, and I need to go into the main function and call all of these one at a time. So the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to create an object of inventory. Okay, inventory is equal to inventory, and then I'll be adding couple of products. It was already given in the questions: apple, banana, and oranges. So I'm going to use that inventory dot add product. Okay, the first is gonna be like the product ID, which is 101 apple. Okay, and then it is gonna be like uh, the quantity I'm gonna give is 50, What I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna copy this line and paste it two more times just to save some time. 102, 103, it is gonna be banana. The quantity I'll change it to 30, and here it is gonna be oranges. Not oranges, just orange, and here are the quantity I'm gonna make it to 20. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is that I am just going to call the display function inventory dot display inventory. Okay, and let me run this code and have a look. How does this look like? Okay, so let me run this code and see if I am getting the right result or not. So here I am getting some error. Take 3 positional argument but 4 were given. Add product. Okay, now it's time for us to debug it. What is wrong? Self dot products dot append. Here it is saying name is not defined. Okay, let me have a look at the chat as well so that you all can also see. And okay, no one has responded so far. What do you think is the thing missing over there? Have a look at the question over here again. Okay, we have ID, name, and quantity, and if you look at the code now, what do you think is missing? We have error in this line. It is saying 3 positional argument but 4 were given. Anyone? No, no response so far. Okay, it is saying name is not defined. If I go to the quick fix, okay, it is saying add from OS import. It is not going to help us. We know that. So quick fix is not going to help us. Is there any other place where I'm missing something? These are the places where I have name.
Vivek sir,
These
there
are
is a
the,
response.
there is a response. Okay, let me have a look. In add product, we need to add name. Okay, in add product, we need to add name. This is where you are talking about. Is this what you are talking about? Yes. Awesome. Great. I can see, like, you have an eagle's eye, right? Because you have noted it beautifully. I was moving my mouse, I was moving my cursor, and moreover, it was directly telling you there is an error. So you should look at the parameter that we are passing, isn't it? What parameter are we passing? Right? Okay. These are small mistake, guys. Believe me, which can happen with anyone at any point of time. Okay. Awesome. Now, if I run this code, see, can you see the response over here? 101, name Apple. If it is smaller, I'm not sure how to make this bar portion bigger, the font of this, but I am just, making it a little larger, this section. So you can see there is the result that we have. Okay, so Apple quantity 50, banana quantity is 30, orange quantity is 20. Now what I'm going to do is that after displaying the inventory, I'm going to call the update function. Okay, I'm going to call the update function over here. So let me call the update function as well. Inventory dot update quantity, and there for banana I'm adding 40 more quantity, and after that I'll be calling the display inventory once again. So what will happen now is that first of all we'll be able to see the original inventory, then after the quantity got added, then we will be able to see. Okay, so now you see, so here you can see that these three are the first 50, 30 and 20, and then after I updated the quantity of banana by 40, you can see 30 banana became 70. Okay, so now if you look at the number of lines with all the spacings and everything, it is around 33. Of course, it is not 33, there are a lot of line breaks in between. But if I open the C code and show you the same thing in C, the result will of course be the same. You see, C code is little bit longer. And the simple reason that, as I told you, is that the simple reason is that because we do not have lot of options, we do not have lot of library functions available in C, and because of that, things goes a little longer. If it comes in C++, if I show you the same code in C++, right? Okay, let me show you the C code slowly so that even if you want to have a look at later point of time, if you want to take a screenshot, you can take it. Okay, so this is till line number 20 we are able to see. If I go down from 20 onwards, okay, so line number 20 till 30, 39 we are able to see. And if I go scroll little more down, this is our main function. This is what the C code looks like. If I go to the C++ functions, it is more or less the same thing, but here what is happening is that we are using vector in C. C++ gives you something called as vector, which makes your life easy. Reason is that in vector, you have some functions called push back, right? You can use some library functions of vector, which is going to make your life a little easier. So have a look at the C code. Of course, we are using vector over here. If you want to remove vector, then you'll have to go with the same thing as we did in C. Okay, so from line number 1 till 20 is being covered in this screen. If I scroll down from here, from update, void update function, okay, then the display inventory function, and then the main function. And in the main functions, we do not have a lot of things. We are just adding the calling the that function 3 times, updating the quantity, displaying the inventory. Okay, now have a look at Java as well. How does Java looks like? So if you look at the Java thing, we are using array over here, array list, right? So we have imported that. Then we are creating a class product which has 3 things in it: id, name, and quantity. Then we are calling a constructor, and then we are setting up the initial thing over there. Then coming to the class inventory, in the inventory class, what we are doing is that we are creating a private list, right? And then the product is like this constructor is creating a new array list, and we are adding products to it. Okay, again, if you look at over here, we are using dot add. What it allows you to do is that it is basically the same thing which was append in Python, right? What append was doing, the same thing is add function doing over here. Then we are using the update quantity. Update quantity function is more or less the same in each of the languages. It does not change. The display almost remains the same, right? The only thing that was happening with the add product, in some of the cases you will have to write it line by line, but in case other you got some functions. And the main function in Java, you can see just adding product and putting up the number of quantity over there. Okay, so this is what I had to share. Now what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for the time being. Okay, and then I'm gonna turn on my camera and then I'm gonna pass it to you, Ranjan sir. If you guys have any questions, I'm still here to answer your question, but I want to give back it to Ranjan sir to talk about the closer
Yeah,
of this webinar.
yeah. Thank you so much, Vivek sir. And participants, there's a link which we have provided just now in the chat. So those of you who are not part of the community, you can join the WhatsApp group. And Vivek sir, shall we give the code in our community so that students will be able to have a look at the solution, right?
Yes, sir. We can share the code.
We'll
Okay.
share the code. We have a way of sharing it. What we do, students and participants, is that we have a group, we have a course in our Graphy website, that is our learning management system. Log into that, and you will get the solutions or for at our aptitude tests and our coding classes, etc. Whatever do we do, so we will update that and provide that information in the community. So hence, what we are asking you is as we have given, if you can see our chats, join our community. That's the first link. Join our community by joining one of the groups under the community, and the second one is the link to that particular course. If you can register into that course, it's a free course, and there you will get a huge amount of information. Whatever we do in the webinar, the aptitude test, those solutions are given, as well as what Vivek sir has just done. And in the future, whatever coding problems we have solved, we are going to give that. With that, I would also like to get a feedback on the webinar, please. And there are a number of courses and opportunities. Reshmi, can you put the Google form, please, so that the participants, yes, so that's the Google form. Kindly fill up the form, and then what I would request you to do is, once you have filled up that form, we will know that what is the kind of courses or interventions you are looking for. We have Vivek has solved one problem. We have our own coding platform. There are about 23 lessons, about 115 problems, and these are the problems. If you would like to, get an access, you can let us know. And I think by solving about 115 such problems, it will make you ready. It will make you. Now, Vivek sir, now, I had a curiosity. What is the amount of time one has to take in solving this problem in a coding exam for a placement with a company, we'll say like Tech Mahindra or CTS or something like that?
So if I talk about this particular problem, sir, and if I go with the same language that I was writing, like Python, with everything, it shouldn't take more than 10 minutes, right? Because if you're spending more than 10 minutes, then definitely you are losing time out on the other question. Because it was like, if you have two questions in an examination, one of them is usually like, going to take a little bit lesser time as compared to the other one, right? So if you give more time to this question, you are going to lose time to the other question for sure.
So,
So
so how would you classify this? Is it a simple question, an
it
average
is
question?
it is a simple one, sir. This we started with very simple questions, very simple one. This is very simple one to begin with.
So students, you just got a flavor of the kind of questions that are asked in coding tests, and this is a simple one. And I'm happy that quite a few of the students were giving responses and providing us inputs. Now coming back, and in the future, we will tell you those kind of problems which are having going to have medium complexity or very complex. Hence, if you work with us on our coding platforms and get access to those 115 problems and solve it with us, and in the webinars, and we are going to have tutorial sessions to help you with those problems. I'm sure that will make you very very confident, and we have seen it. We've done these assessments, we have taught, and we have seen that if you can solve all those problems confidently, you can get in through any of the any organization. Now, what I would like to once again request is the last form, that is the Google form. Please go into it and provide your responses. We are going to start a 80-hour course, and we call it a completely integrated placement preparation course. We do it with colleges where we are kind of partners to those colleges, but we want to take it out and bring it to students whom we cannot meet in colleges because we are limited in terms of going to all the colleges across the country. So these 80 hours will help you to crack that aptitude test where you kind of need about 80% cutoff. You need to solve those 2 out of 3 problems in a coding test, must. And there are soft skills areas where we will help you with your communication skills, the way you answer, the way you do your group discussions, and the way you do your interviews. And we have been working on all these areas for many years now. So we want to bring that and make you ready for the coming placements for this year. Any questions, students? I think we have talked a lot. We have solved the problems, and we would be happy to answer any questions that you have. Any questions? How did you find the problem that was given to you? Was it beneficial to you? Did you find it useful? Yes, no? Would you like to get some more complex problems? Just wanting to know so that we can provide them in the upcoming webinars that we do with you. So, participants in this webinar, thank you so much for attending this webinar. I really hope that it has been useful to you. We will keep sharing in our community. Please join our WhatsApp group and take the benefit from there. If you have any questions, post it there, and we will get back to you. If you want to have a one-to-one session with any of us, just mention that you would like to have a session, and again, we shall get back to you. So, with those words, and thanking you once again, thank you, Vivek sir. We'll close the meeting now.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, student. Have a great day.
Thank you, Smiti.